From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather, live at 5.
Cloudy skies and rainy conditions continue across the Tennessee Valley on this Tuesday afternoon. Here's a live look at the Arctic Air Skycam network. You can see the low cloud ceilings here and even the Cherokee site in western Colbert County stuck in the clouds and the fog because they're up on that hill south of town. Rain continues for a large part of the area, and because of that, we're looking at chilly temperatures today, mainly into the mid to upper 40s across our area. Some spots have briefly hit the lower 50s this afternoon, but you don't have to go too far to the northwest to get across this boundary and get into the lower 40s out here near and north of I-40. But we're generally not going to see temperatures move a whole lot tonight. They're going to stay into the 40s for the most part. And then tomorrow, the frontal boundary waffles north a little bit, and we do get some slightly warmer conditions with daytime highs knocking on the door of 60 degrees. Meanwhile, it's been a rainy day across the area. We've had several hours of rainfall, and rainfall totals between 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rainfall today. That's led to some creeks and some streams out of their banks, some low-lying areas being flooded already on this first day of the heavy rainfall, and several local and county roadways, especially across Lauderdale County, Alabama, being closed because of flooding this afternoon. Rain starting to break up in coverage and become more scattered over southern middle Tennessee. You can see some of the heavier stuff shifting off to the east now over the past hour. Here's live Viper radar animating over the past hour. We'll slide down to northwest Alabama, and it's more of the same. A lot of the steady heavy rain shifting off to the east, but you see another batch in the northeastern areas of Mississippi that will be moving back into the shoals down to Russellville and Red Bay and Moulton over the next hour or so before I think we do get a longer lasting break into the late evening. Here's the regional radar look along with satellite. You can see the main frontal boundary off to our south. The heavy rainfall streaming across the area today, but you do see that there is some temporary eastward motion with the back edge of this. So I think once we get to the late evening, we will probably see the rain taper off for a little bit before it shifts back northward into our area as we head closer to daybreak. Here's a futurecast breakdown showing the back edge of that rain approaching the area as we head towards 6, 7 o'clock. That shifts on across our area through midnight and gives us a brief break in the steady, heavier rain during the late evening and the overnight. However, once we get into the early morning hours, that comes back northward across the area, and most of us back in the steady rain, if this is correct, by daybreak, and then it just gets heavier once again as we head through the morning into the midday and early afternoon. I think from mid-morning to early afternoon is when we have our heaviest rain and embedded rumbles of thunder. No severe storms expected, but another 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rainfall with isolated heavier totals tomorrow as that system comes through. Maybe a peak or two of sun in the afternoon behind it, allowing us to get up into the lower 60s, upper 50s. Otherwise, a few spotty showers into the evening hours. It'll be cooler, though, as we get into Wednesday night down into the lower 40s or upper 30s or so. And then we're going to see a break in the rain for a couple days Thursday into the daytime hours of Friday. Thursday night and Friday morning, we're likely actually to have a light freeze across the area with temperatures down into the mid to upper 20s. But we start to turn that back around Friday as high pressure shifts east of the area. We start to get a southerly flow, and that's going to bring the front back north as a warm front and set us up for warmer conditions and rain and thunderstorms on our Saturday. Friday night into Saturday morning, we'll have the warm front coming north, some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder along that. That moves north of us during the morning and midday hours of Saturday. We get a lull in the action before we'll watch the afternoon and evening hours for stronger thunderstorms. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Additional rainfall, not counting what we've already had today of 3 to 5 plus inches coming between now and Sunday morning across a large part of southern middle Tennessee and North Alabama. But that does not include the 1.5 to 2.5 we already had today. So final storm totals altogether from all 3 rounds of heavy rain, we're still expecting a grand total of 5 to 7 inches of rainfall, pretty much area-wide, with isolated totals certainly possibly heavier than that. So flooding threat will only continue, especially a flash flooding threat as we get into the weekend. And it's Saturday, we're going to have to watch for the potential for severe storms here. The basic idea is starting to lock itself into the models, so we're getting increasing confidence in the basic setup for strong to severe thunderstorms, with timing being Saturday afternoon into the overnight hours. At minimum, we expect a line of thunderstorms Saturday night with damaging winds, flash flooding, and spin-up tornadoes. And because of all the rain we're going to get before then, it's going to saturate the ground, weaken the tree root systems. That makes it easier to knock over trees and power lines Saturday night when the line of thunderstorms comes in with the high wind potential and to spin up tornadoes. What we'll be watching during the afternoon and evening hours of Saturday is the potential for possibly some individual supercells to develop out ahead of the line. There's a question mark on that because it's going to depend on how much lift in the atmosphere we have out ahead of the line to get individual thunderstorms to form. If they do, that would bring an elevated type tornado threat, but we're still several days out. It's too far out to really have a lot of confidence in that scenario yet. Regardless, damaging straight line winds, the potential for flash flooding, and some magnitude of a tornado threat is on the board Saturday afternoon, Saturday night as we get closer and we have more confidence one way or another on whether there may be supercells ahead of the line. That will let us figure out the magnitude or the caliber of the type of tornado threat we will be facing across the area. So what do you do with this information this far in advance? First off, you don't be scared about it. You don't panic. You don't worry, because we never want you to worry with a severe weather situation. Being level-headed allows you to make correct decisions. What we want you to do is pay attention to the forecast the next few days as we figure out the details of this. Pay attention Saturday for watches and warnings, and have your safety plan in place ahead of time for if a warning is issued, you know where you're going to shelter, and everybody in the family knows that. Be getting all those details together this week before we deal with the storms on Saturday. And if you have your safety plan in place, if you pay attention to the weather, we will be right here to track it, and we'll get through it just fine. No reason to be alarmed, no reason to be scared. We have threats like this several times every single year. We get through them together just fine, and we will do that Saturday. But Saturday is a day that you're going to have to pay careful attention to the weather, and we'll be here to track it for you. Meanwhile, temperatures this week, it's up and down, up and down. We go from the lower 60s Wednesday back to the upper 40s to near 50 Thursday, and then we warm from the mid 50s Friday to near 70 degrees, if not into the lower 70s on Saturday. And then we have a stronger push of cooler air coming as we get back into the 40s to start next week. We may be starting Monday morning with lows well down into the 20s as we shift back to wintry type temperatures as we head into next week. So a lot to track here over the next 7 to 10 days. Tonight, rain likely this evening, a break during the late evening, and then rain coming back before daybreak. Overnight lows across southern middle Tennessee in the low to mid 40s, northwest Alabama and northeast Mississippi mid to upper 40s. Rain, some of it heavy at times this evening. Maybe a break after 10 p.m. for a few hours before it comes back across the area before daybreak. Some of that locally heavy. Heavy rain is likely with a 100% chance of rain for our Wednesday. A few embedded rumbles of thunder. I don't expect severe storms in the area. Daytime highs in the lower 60s. We get a break in the rain Thursday in the daytime hours of Friday. We're a little bit cooler, especially on Thursday and the Thursday night. We start our warming trend Friday back into the mid 50s. We are near 70 or into the lower 70s Saturday, and we're going to have to watch carefully Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, that potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. Yes, that does include some degree of a tornado threat. We'll be figuring out the details on that over the next few days. Rain ending Sunday morning, clearing and cooler going into early next week. There's look your latest 7-day forecast. I'll be back at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock with another check of your local weather.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.